What would you say if I told you that BMW made a small car? Now I know what you're thinking. They make Mini. Of course they make small cars. No, I'm talking about much earlier than that. I'm talking about like 1994. Well, they've owned Mini since 1994, so that's kind of pointless. Where was I going with this? This, in my best Doug DeMuro impression, is a 1999 BMW 318ti. Now I know what you might be saying to yourselves. I've never seen one of these before. Well, if you were a kid growing up in the 90s and you liked cars, you probably did see this car, but you probably forgot about it. And that was because the story goes that only 25,000 of these came to the US market. And this is one of those 25,000. It is finished in titanium silver. It has the M Sport package. So it has the M Sport ground effects. It sits a little lower, so it has the M Sport suspension. It also has an M Sport steering wheel. Now you might also notice the interior looks a little strange. It doesn't look like a typical 3 Series from the late 90s, and that is because this car is a combination of 2 cars. So which 2 cars are they? Well, if we look at it from the side, it looks like a 3 Series with the back end chopped off. This is actually from the A-pillars forward in E36. The body is completely different toward the rear. In fact, the front suspension is E36. The back suspension is technically E30 or BMW Z3. So it has Z3 rear suspension on this car. The result is a short wheelbase, very interesting looking little hatchback. And they've made Club Sport versions of this as well when they built the car. So they had all sorts of different options. This vehicle though has a 1.9 liter 4-cylinder motor. And I know it's 4-cylinder and I know it's underpowered. It has about 140 horsepower, mated to a 4-speed automatic with overdrive. So it is a little on the slow side. It just looks really kind of cool, doesn't it? I mean, it is just a cool looking little car. Now let's take a look at that engine. One pull of the handle here, and there we go. This is a 1.9 liter M44. No turbo, no supercharger, all naturally aspirated, and it's mated to a 4-speed automatic, so it's a little on the slow side. 140 horsepower is what they say on this car, so this is the lowest horsepower BMW you can get, at least in that time frame. So on the front, the owner did replace the headlights. He put in newer ones that weren't hazed over. The car does have yellow fog lights, which is kind of nice. It has the stock 16-inch wheels, has nice Hankook tires on it. It is a pretty little car. Gas cap's in an odd location because the typical coupe, the gas cap is located right here. Well, we're missing about a foot of car, give or take, so that's not going to happen. But inside, we have a nice interior. These really nice seats, they're very comfortable. Typical 1990s fare. We got the space for your change. We have a very small cup holder here and one for your coffee mug right here. I think that is yep, that is an ashtray. And up here we do have heated seats, oddly enough. Leather wrapped shift knob. It is an automatic, of course. I've driven this car around myself and the AC is really cold in this car, so that is really nice. But overall, it's just a very nice interior and it's very nicely appointed. It even has a sunroof. Now, don't mind the headliner. Unfortunately, that happens on a 23-year-old car, so it does need a little TLC, including some trim pieces need to be popped back into place. You can do a manual transmission swap in this vehicle. You can swap in the manual transmission that was normally in this car, and it costs somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 to do it. You'd have to get all the necessary componentry to do that, but you can do it. What I have seen people do is take these cars and put the BMW M3 powertrain in them. Now that is something that would be incredible in this little car and would just make it a little beast. It's a short wheelbase BMW rear wheel drive, and you could put an M3 motor in this thing and really have some fun with it. I mean, for a 23-year-old BMW, it's in remarkably good shape. And yes, the headliner is sagging like crazy. I know everyone loves to call the Minis the BMW Mini, so would this be a mini BMW? So what's it like driving a 23-year-old car? It squeaks, has a few rattles here and there. I got the headliner hanging over my head, well, actually hanging on my head, and it won't. Okay, well, I guess it'll stay out of the way for now. Aside from that, it doesn't feel very different. Yes, it is a very old car in the greater scheme of things. I would never have thought of a 1999 BMW as being an old car, but yet here I am driving one, and in effect, it is an old car. Aside from a few sensor malfunctions, it drives surprisingly well. AC is very cold. The automatic transmission works great. It's a 4-speed automatic, so it is a little on the slow side, but the car is slow, so that's kind of a given. I mean, it does rattle around inside, but that's what you should expect from a car this old. I mean, it doesn't have touch screens in it. There's no touch-sensitive buttons or anything in the car. It is basically, I mean, for crying out loud, it has an ashtray in it. So this is from an era gone by where this was state-of-the-art in 1999. It genuinely was, which is really funny considering a lot of the pieces in this car are actually off of the BMW E30. We're talking like 1980s, 1990s tech in this car, and people loved that. This was a fun car to have. They even came with a rollback sunroof, like a cloth top. Now imagine that. Now if you want a vehicle that really draws attention, really gets people looking at you and going, what the heck is that? This is that car. Another weird quirk about the BMW 318ti is the lack of tilt telescope steering wheel. And I've been told most 3 Series from this generation didn't come with that either. And I think they said it had something to do with a safety issue regarding the airbag and the design of the steering column. Now, given that the airbag light is on, I'm not sure if it's the passenger airbag that's not working or the driver's side airbag that's not working in this car. But I wouldn't mind a tilt and telescope steering wheel so I could get the steering wheel exactly where I want it rather than where it wants it. Well, that was a lot of fun. I'm going to turn this car off here real quick. So what are my overall thoughts on the 318ti? Well, old, has a few creaks and squeaks here and there, but overall, it's a really, really neat little car. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, check out more content on this channel at the end of this video. And as always, life is too short to drive a boring car, so drive a Mini? Well, I don't know. Yeah, probably.